What's up guys, Mike here. With the recent bankruptcy of Foil from GetFoil, which came out of the blue, we can finally conclude that our industry of jetboards and efoils in its downfall. So in this short video I wanted to go over all the businesses that recently went bankrupt. I met many of them, I tested their boards, so I thought it would be quite valuable if I share my insights of what went wrong with each of them. Maybe it will help other brands that are just getting started to avoid the same fate, or the customers to avoid buying from companies that are about to go bankrupt in future as well. So let's get started. First, the best way to analyze any business is to use Google Trends. This will give you an idea how the business works and if it's seasonal or not. In our case, we're comparing the search term efoil against a jetboard. Since I joined the industry about 10 years ago, we didn't have any efoils obviously, but we saw jetboards peaking around year 2016-17, and they kind of stayed in the same level with little peaks around the summer because most sales of jetboards and efoils happen spring and summer. Nobody buys them in winter. It's a dead season for this kind of market. But this industry, as you can see, the red line never actually grew, kind of remains the same, and even went down over here with only bigger brands like JetSurf and eWave actually surviving in this competitive market, and it remains a very small niche. On the other hand, we have efoils that started in the end of 2017 with Liftfoils and Fliteboard taking over the market, and then other brands quickly joining. We can see this blue line peaked. Every summer it's peaking, but unfortunately it stopped around July 2021. That was still during the pandemic times, and then it kind of remained the same, and you can see it went lower, and obviously this summer will be much lower as well. What it tells us that the market saturated around the year of 2021, and with so many new brands trying to get on this hype train, trying to launch the brands around this time. Almost every month we saw the new brands coming on efoil market, announcements, a lot of excitement, everything was buzzing around efoils. It was the next big thing, but it was just too many new brands in a market that remains very niche seasonal market, and it's just too small and too competitive for little brands to remain profitable. That's why recently we saw so many companies, unfortunately, going out of business. I hope this gives you a big picture of what went wrong and why. And now let's dive deep into each brand very quickly, and I'll give you my thoughts of what went wrong specifically with each brand. Wavejet. The Wavejet was too early for its time. It was a pod that helped you automate a regular surf. This is kind of the first idea even before jetboards came to the market. I mean electric ones. It was the first electric board that was inside the cavity inside the surfboard that actually helped you catch more waves. I bought this board about 2015, almost 10 years ago. And though this looks good on pictures, this is my video actually here. The idea never actually worked in real time. The board was extremely weak, it didn't give you any propulsion whatsoever, and it didn't last long, and it was extremely unreliable. It was leaking, batteries were not working, the pins were getting rusty, so this company quickly went out of business, and I'm not surprised about this. And now we have so many different fins that allow you to automate your surfing and subboarding. So you have boost fin, which you can attach to your surfboards. You have kick fin. You have so many fins that you attach to your surfboards that the market is really saturated as well. The next one is the Radinn, radical innovation. Developed around the year of 2016, it was one of the pioneers of electric jetboarding. The original model, to be honest, wasn't good at all. It didn't have any handles, and I was the first actual user who tested it, and I complained about it. Then the company learned from these mistakes. They developed a new version, which looked much better. It had some handles, foot straps, and on the first sight, it looked like a good product. But unfortunately, as you can see from their Instagram, the company really overspent on the marketing. They were always boasting with those yachts, big parties, expensive photo shoots. They really overpaid a lot on the marketing and really failed to deliver an actual product. When it came down to delivering, there were huge delays. The customers were always complaining that they're not getting the product in time, and all the money actually spent in those lavish parties, tours, photo shoots, marketing events. So that was more like a marketing company rather than an actual product. And for this reason, this never took off. And in the end of last year, as you can see, they went out of business, and I think eWave will continue with the remaining stock of this Swedish company. That's pretty sad, but to be honest, I'm not surprised, because Radinn never could translate the overhyped marketing into actual delivery of actual product that people enjoy. And that was the reason of their downfall. Onean Carver. This makes me sad to know that this company also went out of business, because that was actually my first jetboard that I bought, and that was the reason I started my channel in the first place, trying to share my experience and my review of Onean Carver. And to know now, 8 years later, that this company went out of business makes me really sad. The problem with this little Spanish company, which worked hard to be the pioneer of electric jetboarding, is the lack of innovation. For so many years, despite being a first company to actually start this business in 2015, they only remained with one single model. Basically, they made this platform of a very long board, and all they did later was just trying to juggle around with this design, trying to put one battery, then two batteries, one jet, two jets. They never really progressed. They missed out on the efoiling brand. They missed out on efoiling train. They missed out making smaller boards, lighter boards. They really struggled with poor support. Customers were complaining that nobody's responding, nobody's servicing the boards. There were a lot of quality control issues, including battery fires, which really destroyed this brand in the end. And to be honest, I'm not surprised they went out of business, but this makes me really sad to know this, because that was quite a great board. Rest in peace, Carver. Waterwolf. Waterwolf was another pioneer of jetboarding industry. It was a German brand started by Marcus more than 10 years ago. It was extremely unusual product. It was just a surfboard with a propeller attached underneath it. We tested it about 8 years ago. We met Marcus, and it was quite an interesting product and kind of pioneer of the industry, but unfortunately he could never scale this. He could never set the big factory to produce this in mass production. It was remaining like a garage project made by one guy. Each board he was making personally, and without scaling in this market, unfortunately, you couldn't move forward. That's why this went nowhere and just remained as a hobby project of Marcus, though it had a lot of potential for sure. Scubajet. Scubajet was announced, rumors of it getting bankrupt, only 11 days ago, so I'm not fully sure if it's true or not, so I apologize if I'm spreading rumors. But if it's true, unfortunately, I'm not surprised about it. Scubajet was an Austrian company that one of the pioneers of the underwater diving scooters used in movies like Avatar. That was an exciting product that I tested. myself. They made a pro model which was light and shorter, and a traditional model which looked longer, like a rocket. It was pretty well built, but unfortunately it just had too many issues. It was an Austrian European production, which made it extremely expensive. It was, I think, if I remember, more than 2,000 euros to buy it, which is ridiculous for this kind of product. The technology was quite poor because all the components were very simple. It was very short riding time. The remote control wasn't very cool as well. They tried to improve it, but unfortunately they simply couldn't compete with Chinese companies that were much more affordable. If we do a quick Google search of underwater scooters, we can easily see that the price is around 400-300 euros for this kind of product. So nobody would be paying 2,000 for underwater scooter from Scubajet. Another reason of their downfall is a lack of focus and a lack of vision. The company obviously understood that they have no future competing with Chinese companies for underwater scooter market, and they tried to quickly jump on the efoil and jetboard train at the same time. So they were trying to cover everything, and that just went over the head probably. They were trying to announce a dual system of efoil and jetboard at the same time that you can switch around. It was shown on the booth events in the trade show, but this never made to the market, and I'm not surprised because this is just unrealistic. Developing the dual use product, it's just too expensive for the customer to buy two products basically, and nobody actually needs so much stuff. If you like efoils, you probably don't need this setup anyway. So I'm not surprised that this went nowhere. When you try to do two things at the same time, you basically fail at both of them. It's like a flying car, or floating plane. You just suck at any function. You just need to focus on one thing and do it the best, like Fliteboard or Liftfoils or Audi is doing, instead of trying to do everything at the same time, be a scooter, be a jetboard, be efoil. So when you don't know what you are, you have no business vision, no wonder they went out of business. Manta 5 hydrofoil. The Manta 5 hydrofoil, it was a very ambitious, very unusual and innovative product, which is a hydrofoil electric water bike, which you can ride a bicycle on the surface of water. We tested it a few years ago, and when I saw the product, I knew they will not last long, because this is simply too ambitious, and this product is trying to solve the problem that doesn't exist. There is really no demand in riding bicycles on the water. This makes the process unnecessarily complicated, convoluted. It's very expensive. It's difficult to assemble. It requires you to be in a very strong fit condition to operate, especially to do the water starts. It was extremely difficult even for guys who show and who do the demo, and it was next to impossible to regular people to water start. Assembling this product took a lot of time. There are a lot of moving parts. It's heavy, it's bulky, very unreliable. When we tested it, we hit the fishing line, and you can imagine this thing in front broke down right away. Thank God we had the second one, so we could still test it, but you can imagine how unreliable this product was. So unfortunately, despite the innovative idea, which went viral, this never actually went to the market. Waveshark is another company that tried to be best at everything and failed to deliver at anything. They tried to make a jetboard, they tried to do an efoil, they tried to do so many things at the same time. At the same time, they also lacked the experience in water sports. It was a Chinese company, and when I met them, I instantly understood that these guys had no experience in water sports. Even the guys doing demos to us in Spain, they didn't know anything about the boards, their stats, They never tried their own products, obviously. They were just sales guys. They were nice guys, but if you have no experience in water sports, you don't know what customer actually needs. It's basically if I have no driving license and then I'm starting my own car manufacturing. You know how it looks, but you have no idea what customers actually need. And I remember how slippery this jetboard was. So when the sales agent actually decided to try, I was giving them a lesson of their own product, which is ridiculous by itself. And they said, wow, this is so slippery. And I said, well, now you see that it would be nice if you actually try your own products before you start selling them to the customers. Because that was just unusable. It was too heavy. It was almost, 80 kilograms, ridiculously heavy products, completely unsuitable, very poor customer service. I remember we had a lot of issues with the representatives. Quality wasn't there. They were breaking. They didn't want to service the product, and I'm not surprised that unfortunately this company went out of business. Not to mention the prices were ridiculous. They were offering this Chinese brand at the price of premium boards more expensive than Fliteboard or weight, which is ridiculous. But even when they cut the prices, it just never went anywhere. And to finish my sad list of downfalls of the industry, let's talk about recent bankruptcy of GetFoil Inc. It was announced just recently and it came out of the blue. However, I think everybody saw this coming because they already saw that company went very quiet since last November. They stopped updating their Instagram, which is a big sign that company is not doing further marketing, and they're firing existing marketing teams. They're not focusing on sales anymore, which wasn't surprised that they went out of business. The company was a very ambitious project and it was marketed as a US-made eFoil. So they were saying this is not a Chinese product, we're making everything in the US, we support local manufacturers, it was stylish, looking cool. We met with Jeremy from Lake Powell last year. They had a lot of excitement, announcement of new products, jets, a lot of cool stuff. It was very promising product, but unfortunately all these promises went to nowhere. They had delivery issues, battery issues, endless issues with support. A lot of people are complaining of the broken remotes, batteries not connecting. So the company really struggled with delivery, and I think their product was just too expensive. Probably they were paying also royalty fees, so the profit margins just were not there. And from the bankruptcy message they posted on Reddit, it just said that they lacked profitability of this business and it wasn't sustainable. As you can see, the prices were really high, and though they claim it best in the industry, it was far from true. Unfortunately, it couldn't compete with products like Fliteboard, it was unreliable, it was getting scratches, the jet never came to the market. So a lot of things went wrong, and I think also the main reason is that the owners were not really focused on water sports and this industry. They had a successful grocery delivery business or something like food boxes. I don't remember the details. So their focus was on other industries and not really on water sports. So once they saw the market is just too small, too competitive, and there is no room for this expensive, even though good-looking brand in the market, they decided to cut the losses and stop this business, even though it had potential. And I thought that having US-made product like a OneWheel would be really cool for marketing, though as we can see from this bankruptcy message, this wasn't true. Later we can see that Kyle, the owner of GetFoil, also posted this heartbreaking message thanking everybody for this amazing journey. And we know that businesses are created, businesses fail, this is part of life, nobody died, it's just life goes on. But the question is, what happens now with all those servicing claims, that people that now get basically the brick and nobody is going to service them. I went myself through a lot of bankruptcies like this with drones, for example. A Stalker drone went bankrupt and I was left with basically a brick without any software updates, and it was really hard to get anything fixed. So good luck to foil owners, what else can I say, and hopefully you'll find some do-it-yourself enthusiasts that can fix and service your boards that will eventually stop working. And before I go, while I was editing everything, I just realized that first of all I'm talking really slow and I have to speed up. Sorry about that, guys. This whole thing talking about downfalls of the industry that I'm so passionate about, that I spent years and years building, helping it to grow, it makes me really depressed talking about this, but I think it was very nice to get it out and help others hopefully avoid the same fate. But I was also about to say that I'm not affiliated with any of these companies, so everything that I said was just basically a speculation. I have no inside information of what really happened with all these companies, why they really went out of business. All I saw is what is happening. And the biggest sign out of everything, the most important thing that you can take out, the biggest giveaway that the company is about to get bankrupt, is they stop updating their social media. If you stop marketing, it means the company is going down very quick, because if you are firing people that help you make sales, you are not expecting anything good to happen. And with all those companies, with Radinn and all others, with Foil, we see that they stop updating their social media. The Instagram, for example, last message was 30 weeks ago, basically in November of last year. And same happened with Radinn before they went bankrupt. So if you see the company stopped updating their social media, this is the biggest red flag. Run. Never buy anything, just run. This is the biggest sign that things go south. Hopefully this will help you avoid such issues in future as well. But I don't want to end this video on such a sad note, because I'm sure, guys, that this industry of jetboards and efoils, it's not going anywhere. It's only going to grow. It will get stronger. The weak companies will fall off. The strong one will keep leading the market, will keep innovating, and will keep moving things forward. That's why I'm still, as before, super excited to see how this industry progresses. And there are still a lot of very strong brands. I don't want to push any specific brand, as I always stay independent, but do your own research. There are plenty of strong companies that have amazing products coming on the market. So the future is still bright, and despite all these bankruptcies, the industry will move forward. I'm pretty sure of that. That's all for today, guys. Take care, keep on riding, and always don't forget to visit the famous eSurfer forum, where you can find all the important information about the current market, current products. Talk to your local dealers, find everything yourself, touch the product, don't just pre-order it online or on Kickstarters. Go to your local dealer, have a lesson, rent a board, get in touch with actual people who actually are there underwater doing the lessons, teaching, and hopefully get the legit brand. And have fun on the water. That's it. Have an amazing season. Let's keep on riding. Take care. Cheers. Bye. I think that's more optimistic. Poof. Ta-dam.